Episode 3, Introduction and Setup. The Wanderer drifted through the endless void, its once pristine hull now scarred from battle and survival. Stars shimmered in the vast expanse, indifferent to the struggle of those who traverse their domain. The ship's engines hummed faintly, their rhythmic vibration a stark contrast to the chaos that had unfolded mere hours ago. Inside the medbay, Durin sat hunched over a table, hands deftly working through circuits and wiring. The small, dimly lit room smelled of burnt metal and disinfectant. Sweat clung to his forehead, but he ignored it. His focus remained solely on the battered form of Bolt. The drone's casing was dented, its optic sensors flickering weakly. Every movement it made was slow, strained. "Hold still, Bolt," Durin muttered, adjusting a fractured wire. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the occasional spark. For a brief moment, there was peace, a rare, fleeting moment aboard a ship that knew only struggle. Bolt's optics flickered erratically before stabilizing into a dim glow. The drone's servos whined as it attempted to lift itself. Diagnostic scan complete. Conclusion: "I am extremely broken." Bolt droned, its voice tinged with artificial sarcasm. Durin snorted. "You don't say." Seraph, the ship's onboard AI, observed the exchange in silence. Its presence was felt more than seen. The ship's quiet guardian, ever watching. "You pushed your core too hard back there," Durin continued. "I'm amazed you're still functional. The alternative was you becoming space dust. I ran the probabilities. You were in my best interest to save," Bolt replied. Durin smirked. "Touching." Seraph finally spoke, its tone neutral, yet firm. "Your repairs are adequate, but time-consuming. Efficiency would be improved if Bolt remained deactivated for a full cycle." "Not happening," Durin said. "I need him operational." Seraph hesitated. "Then you should be made aware. An unidentified vessel is approaching." Durin's hands froze mid-adjustment. The soft chime of the ship's alert system cut through the medbay. Seraph's voice followed immediately, devoid of emotion, but heavy with implication. "Unidentified vessel detected. No beacon, no registration. Trajectory suggests intentional pursuit." Durin wiped his hands on his worn flight suit, his gut tightening. "Distance?" 30,000 clicks in closing. Bolt let out a mechanical whir. "Wonderful. I barely function, and now we have company. I'm sure they'll be friendly." Durin shot the drone a look before pushing himself up. He grabbed his jacket, slinging it over his shoulders as he strode toward the cockpit. The metallic corridors of the Wanderer groaned softly under his steps. The ship, a living thing in its own right, a survivor just like him. "Seraph, full scan," he ordered as he slid into the pilot's chair. "I want to know what we're dealing with." Processing. The cockpit screen flickered to life, data streaming across the display. Durin's grip tightened on the armrests. Whatever it wasn't broadcasting anything. No identification, no signals, just silence. That was never a good sign. Durin stared at the display, watching the ghostly blip on the radar shift unnervingly, its trajectory erratic but purposeful. The ship moved with an unnatural fluidity like it was hunting. "Still no ID?" "Negative," Seraph confirmed. "It remains unresponsive." Bolt let out a low, simulated hum. "I suggest running immediately." Durin frowned. Running was always an option, but he hated being chased without understanding the threat first. He tapped a few commands into the console, magnifying the external cameras. The image that appeared sent a cold spike through his chest. The ship, or whatever it was was a shifting black mass against the void. It absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making it difficult to define its shape. It wasn't just dark, it was wrong. This isn't a pirate vessel, Durin murmured. It's something else, a wise observation, Bolt deadpanned. Now may I suggest again, run it. Durin's hands hovered over the throttle. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, to put as much distance between them and that thing as possible. And yet, part of him hesitated, because he wasn't sure if they were running from it or if it was letting them go. Seraph, he said quietly, keep us on full alert. The void remained silent, but something was out there, watching. The Wanderer's comm system flickers erratically, static, hissing through the speakers. Then, without warning, a transmission forces its way through. The voice that follows is deep, unnatural, layered with distortions that scrape against the ears like metal grinding on metal. Durin stiffens, his fingers tightening around the edge of the console. Every instinct in his body screams trap. Bolt, slumped against the bulkhead, manages a flicker of red optics. The damaged drone servos click weakly as if trying to process the situation. Drin's gaze flicks to the scanner. No beacon, no identification, just the looming shape of a vessel in the void, holding its position like a predator watching its prey. The transmission repeats, colder this time, more insistent. He exhales slowly, his mind racing. Compliance might buy time, but at what cost? His gut says one thing. This isn't a negotiation. The alien vessel moves like liquid metal, its surface shifting in impossible ways. It doesn't glide through space. It flows, reshaping itself with every movement, as though reality bends around it. Strange, pulsating glyphs flicker along its hull, shifting patterns that seem almost sentient. Durin narrows his eyes, trying to make sense of them. Are they a language? A warning? A threat? He reaches for the ship's database, cross-referencing symbols, but nothing matches. This thing, whatever it is, doesn't belong to any known faction. A ripple pulses across the alien ship's surface, and for a moment, it splits. Not an opening, not a hatch, just an absence, a void where metal should be. Durin swallows hard. He's seen plenty of alien designs before, wrecks, derelicts, warships from a dozen species, but nothing like this. This ship doesn't just move, it hunts. Durin's fingers hover over the controls, his mind already running calculations. He doesn't have time, he doesn't have options, but he has instincts. With a subtle flick of his wrist, he initiates a diagnostic scan, searching for any weakness. Weapon systems, shield fluctuations, a power signature that could be exploited. The Wanderer's sensors hum, feeding him fragmented data, nothing he likes. Bolt groans, his optics dimming as his circuits struggle to stay online. Don't fight, not yet. Durin doesn't answer. His eyes lock on the approaching ship. It's too close, way too close. The transmission comes again, the same mechanical voice. You have no choices. Durin exhales, slowly reaching toward the weapon systems. The ship lurches, a shadow looms larger, and the unknown vessel surges forward. Seraph's cold, synthetic voice cuts through the chaos. Probability of hostile intent, 82%. Durin barely has time to react before the first shockwave rips through the ship. The Wanderer screams under the unseen impact. Energy surges through the hull, rattling the bulkheads, sparking the consoles. The lights flicker. Shields buckle. Red warning runes dance across the displays. Incoming damage. Systems compromised. Durin slams his hand against the console. Seraph, Report! Unknown weapon, non-projectile, energy-based. Shields at 34% and dropping. Another pulse strikes. The ship spins. Durin braces himself as gravity falters for a second before the stabilizers compensate. He grits his teeth. This wasn't just a warning shot. They were testing him. The enemy ship pauses, as if waiting for a reaction. Durin forces his breath steady, mind racing through options. Escape? Unlikely. The engines are barely holding together. Fight? The Wanderer's weapons might not even scratch that thing. Seraph's calculations run in the background. Projected survival scenarios. Dismal. The ship shudders again, a low vibration pulsing through the hull. Not another attack. Something else. Something external. They're being pulled in. Durin exhales sharply. He knows that feeling. The slow, inevitable grip of a boarding tractor. He's seen it before on pirate ships, slaver vessels. The second they get pulled in, the second that airlock seals. Game over. His grip tightens on the controls. His pulse thuds in his ears. He has one last card to play, and it sure as hell isn't surrender. Durin flips the safety switch. The Wanderer's weapons hum to life, targeting the unknown vessel. Red warning symbols flash across the screen, highlighting multiple potential impact zones. Shields, thrusters, what might be weapon nodes. None of them confirmed weaknesses. He doesn't care. His jaw locks, his muscles tense. If they're going down swinging. Seraph, load plasma rounds. Bolt, reroute emergency power. The drone sputters weakly. Bad idea. Durin doesn't listen. His thumb hovers over the trigger, his mind screaming one word, fire. But just as he's about to let loose, the alien ship shifts. Not an attack, not a countermeasure. Something else, something watching. Durin hesitates, the moment stretches, and the unknown ship moves, not forward, not away. It vanishes. The air inside the Wanderer turns heavy, charged with something unnatural. Then, without warning, space itself tears open in the cargo bay. The rupture is jagged, a wound in reality that shreds the light around it. From the gaping void, shadows twist and solidify, stepping into existence with an eerie fluidity. Figures emerge, their armor shifting in a grotesque fusion of metal and flesh. It's alive, warping, pulsating, adapting. Their bodies seem to flicker, not quite bound to the laws of the universe as Durin knows them. Glowing eyes, piercing and alien, sweep across the ship's interior, drinking in every detail with chilling precision. A static hum spreads through the Wanderer as the ship's systems react, sensors flickering in protest against whatever force these intruders bring with them. The rift closes behind them, leaving only silence and the slow, measured steps of an enemy that does not belong. Durin grips his pulse pistol tightly. He's seen many horrors lurking in the void, but this is something new. One figure steps forward, towering over the others. Its form shifts, metal gleaming in some places, skin-like textures writhing in others. When it speaks, the ship trembles. Your vessel is of interest to the Dominion. Surrender it. The voice reverberates, layered and unnatural, as if spoken by many throats at once. The demand is not a request. It is a certainty, an expectation. Durin exhales slowly, steadies his stance, and meets their gaze. His pulse pistol remains raised, unwavering. He's been hunted before, he's been cornered, but he's never been one to just roll over and give up. Hell no, he mutters. The alien's glowing eyes narrow. Silence stretches thin, then shatters. Durin's finger tightens on the trigger. A plasma bolt scorches through the cargo bay, striking the lead figure square in the chest. For a moment, there's satisfaction. Then the armor ripples. The impact is absorbed, dispersed across the shifting plates like water over stone. The creature doesn't even flinch. Durin's heart slams against his ribs. Well, damn, the Dominion soldier moves too fast for something that size. An elongated limb lashes out, striking the bulkhead where Durin had stood a second ago. Sparks explode as metal warps under the force. Bolt flickers to life beside him. Tactical miscalculation detected. No kidding. The cargo bay erupts into chaos. Bolt, despite his failing power reserves, deploys an electromagnetic pulse. A crackling wave of energy pulses outward, hitting the borders with force. For a split second, they falter. Their forms flicker, armor struggling to adapt. Durin doesn't hesitate. He fires again. 1, 2, 3 shots, each hitting center mass. But the armor shifts, already recalibrating. The pulses dampen before they can do real damage. Seraph's voice cuts through the chaos. Emergency maneuvers initiated. Gravity lurches. The ship tilts violently as the Wanderer enters an erratic spin, its artificial gravity destabilizing. Durin's stomach flips, his boots struggling to find traction. The boarders recover first. Their bodies adjust unnaturally to the shifting gravity, fluid in a way that screams wrong. Durin clenches his jaw. They were made for this. Durin ducks into the corridor, narrowly avoiding a crackling energy bolt that scorches the bulkhead behind him. He sprints, heart hammering, boots pounding against the deck. The boarders are relentless. Automated defenses activate, turrets whir to life, plasma rounds firing in controlled bursts. The Dominion soldiers barely acknowledge them. Their armor shifts, rerouting impacts, adapting faster than any machine should. This isn't a fight he can win. Bolt flickers beside him. Survival probability decreasing. Alternative strategies required. Durin grits his teeth. He doesn't need a damn probability check to know he's screwed. Then, an idea. Durin slams into engineering, already pulling up control panels. The ship's reactor hums beneath the floor, a steady pulse of energy that keeps the Wanderer alive. He can use that. Fingers fly over the interface, overriding safeties. Heat warnings flash, power levels spike. He forces the reactor toward a critical overload, a deadly gamble. "Seraph," he says, voice tight, "drop the shields and vent the core." The AI hesitates. "Warning, this action will result in catastrophic..." "Do it!" The Dominion soldiers enter engineering just as the alarms scream. The aliens pause. Even they can sense the surge of power, the imminent explosion. Durin stands firm, sweat trickling down his temple, pulse pistol raised, but unnecessary. If they take one more step, they all burn. The Wanderer trembles under its own growing instability. The ship is his home, his past, his fight, and no one takes it from him. One of the Dominion figures tilts its head, considering. The glow in its eyes dims slightly, then without a word, they move back into the rift. Gone the instant they vanish. Durin slams the override, forcing the reactor to stabilize. Power levels drop, alarms fade, silence returns to the ship. Bolt flickers beside him. That was reckless. Durin exhales. Yeah, he leans against the console, heart still racing, but he's still here, still breathing, and the Wanderer is still his. For now, Durin's fist slams against the console, his breathing ragged. The reactor's core flares to life, energy levels spiking well beyond the ship's safety parameters. The metal beneath his feet vibrates with an ominous hum, the Wanderer itself groaning in protest. The invaders, hulking figures wrapped in shifting armor, freeze mid-advance. Their glowing eyes flicker, their intricate armor shifting as if whispering to itself. They recognize the growing energy surge. Durin wipes sweat from his brow and glares at the boarders. You know what happens next if you don't back off. The lead figure takes a slow step forward, unreadable, assessing. The air between them crackles with tension. Bolt, barely operational, wheezes beside him. Captain, he mutters weakly, this is not a good idea. Durin exhales sharply. It's the only idea? The intruders hesitate. Their calculations are shifting. They weren't expecting a human to go this far. A voice, deep and metallic, resonates through the cargo bay. Cease this madness or you die with us. Durin, still gripping the manual override, doesn't flinch. That's the idea. The invaders shift. Uncertainty seeps into their stance. This wasn't in their predictions. Humans, unpredictable, irrational, and willing to burn everything if pushed too far. Durin forces a smirk. You came aboard thinking you had control, but you forgot one thing. He nods toward the reactor display, the overload counter ticking down. This ship isn't just mine, it's me, and I'll be damned if I let you take it. For the first time, the lead intruder hesitates. A crucial moment of doubt. The lead boarder lowers his weapon. His voice, once purely menacing, shifts to something else. Warning. You do not understand what you possess. Durin stiffens. You want to explain that? The intruder gestures to the ship's hull. This vessel, it is not merely yours, it is more. Durin's grip on the override loosens slightly. What are you talking about? A sharp silence fills the space before the boarder speaks again. You have no idea what you sit upon. Adrenaline spikes through Durin's veins. Something's wrong. He's been on the Wanderer for years. If there was something buried in its systems, why didn't he know? The intruder raises a clawed hand. A pulse flickers through his armor, interacting with the ship's systems. A hidden panel near the hull slides open, revealing something buried deep beneath the plating. A holographic interface activates, displaying an ancient relic embedded in the Wanderer's structure. Symbols and circuitry weave together in alien precision, pulsing in eerie synchronization with the ship's core. Durin's breath catches. The energy signature, it's familiar. The same readings found at the Kessler Drift disaster. What is this? He demands. The lead intruder's voice is laced with something rare. Urgency. A remnant of the ones who came before. A key to something far beyond your understanding. Durin shakes his head. That's cryptic as hell. The intruder's glowing eyes narrow. And yet, true. A realization slams into Durin. They didn't come for the ship. They came for whatever the hell this thing was. An alarm shrieks, cutting through the standoff. Reactor levels redline. The overload sequence is still active, mere seconds from detonation. The invaders exchange glances. Their leader clicks something in his armor, relaying a silent command. A rift begins forming behind them, reality shredding apart. A retreat. The lead intruder's gaze lingers on Durin. This is not overhuman. Durin grits his teeth, his fingers twitching over the controls. His gut tells him to stop them. But logic screams that surviving is more important. The last of the invaders step through the rift, and then they're gone. The rift collapses. Silence crashes over the ship like a wave. Durin exhales sharply, forcing his hands to steady. He cancels the meltdown sequence, feeling the energy hum subside. The ship stabilizes. For now, Bolt wheezes, his optics dim. "Captain, what just happened?" Durin doesn't answer immediately. His gaze locks onto the artifact embedded in the hull. His mind races. If those invaders wanted this so badly, it meant one thing. They weren't the only ones looking for it. Durin swallows hard, a single thought pounding in his skull. What the hell did I just survive? Sound of alarms blaring, the ship groaning under stress. Narration. The rift collapses in a violent implosion, taking the invading forces with it. A shockwave ripples through the ship, rattling the hull as unnatural energy fades into nothingness. Durin exhales, gripping the ship's controls with shaking hands. The Wanderer drifts in eerie silence, punctuated only by the warning klaxons screaming across the ship. Durin, that was too damn close. The main console flickers erratically, struggling to process the damage report. The display cycles through power readouts. The reactor is stabilizing barely. Weapon systems fried. Hull integrity compromised, but intact. Durin rubs a hand over his face, exhaustion creeping in. They survive, but at what cost? Heavy breathing. Static crackles as Bolt's voice reboots. "Bolt, are we dead yet? Because this feels like death." Durin lets out a dry chuckle, slumping against the bulkhead. The ship creaks around him, metal strained from the battle, but the reactor hums steadily now. Durin, "Not yet, but I wouldn't call us alive either." He drags himself upright, wincing at the ache in his ribs. His fingers dance over the console, initiating emergency diagnostics. The results are grim. Energy reserves depleted, hull fractures across multiple decks, and weapons offline. Seraph's voice filters through the comms, tight with strain. "Seraph, the ship is holding, but we need time to repair. I suggest we take it." Durin, "No arguments here." They had fought, bled, and nearly lost it all, but the storm had passed. For now, the hum of scanning equipment fills the air. Bolt runs a deep diagnostic, scanning the ship's structure for microfractures. His systems pulse, searching deeper, then pause. Something is wrong. Bolt, Durin, you might want to see this. A holographic display expands, revealing an anomaly within the ship's framework. A buried object, fused with a hull plating. A slow chill creeps down Durin's spine. That wasn't there before. Durin, what am I looking at? Bolt, something old. Something that wasn't installed by us. Durin leans in, studying the data. The object is emitting an energy signature, one he recognizes. It matches the readings from the Kessler Drift disaster. His stomach knots. Durin, this isn't just a ship anymore. It's carrying something else. Soft beeping, Seraph cross-checking data. Seraph, her digital mind moving faster than any human could, pores over the readings. She cross-references ancient star maps, forgotten records, and Dominion data archives. Then she finds it. Seraph, the artifact's energy signature. It matches ruins older than humanity itself. This thing doesn't belong to us. Durin swallows hard. He had thought this was just another fight for survival, another scrap with the Dominion. But now, the pieces were shifting into something much larger, much older. Durin, then who the hell does it belong to? Seraph hesitates. Seraph, I don't know, but if the Dominion wanted it, they might. Durin's fingers tighten into a fist. If the Dominion knew, they would come again, and next time, he might not be able to stop them. The hum of the ship, the weight of decision thick in the air. Durin stares at the console, mind racing. He has a choice to make: destroy the artifact, bury the past, and avoid the coming storm. It would be the safe option, the smart option, or chase the mystery, dive deeper into the unknown, and risk war with the Dominion. Durin, Seraph, how much time before we can move? Seraph, if we push the engines past safety limits, 12 hours. Otherwise, we'll need days. Durin exhales slowly. The artifact hums beneath his feet, a silent enigma waiting to be unraveled. He closes his eyes for a moment, then opens them, gaze sharp. Durin, we don't bury this. We find out the truth, whatever it takes. Bolt lets out a low whistle. Bolt, hell of a call, Captain, but I'm in. Seraph hesitates, then nods. Then we prepare, because whatever this is, we won't be the only ones looking for it. Durin grips the ship's controls, resolve settling in his bones. One thing was certain: the Wanderer's journey was far from over. Cut to black. The deep space radar pulsed, sending a faint, almost hesitant warning. Durin frowned, eyes flicking to the console. The Dominion's warship had vanished into the ether, its rift collapsing into nothingness. And yet, something else remained. Seraph's voice crackled through the comms, her tone edged with concern. Running a sweep now. No known energy signatures match. Whatever's out there, it's not in any database. Durin exhaled slowly. The Wanderer drifted in the abyss, alone, except for the thing lingering beyond their sight, the specter in the void. Unknown presence detected, Seraph continued. No movement, no heat signature, it's just there, watching. A chill ran through Durin's spine, though he wasn't sure if it was fear or something else entirely. Durin leaned forward, gripping the controls with steady hands. The hum of the ship was the only sound, a steady pulse beneath his fingertips. The feeling in his gut was primal, an ancient instinct whispering of danger and discovery in equal measure. It wasn't the first time he'd felt it, and he doubted it would be the last. "What's the call?" Bolt asked, his synthetic voice carrying a rare note of apprehension. Durin smirked, a glint of something reckless in his eyes. "We take a closer look." Seraph's sigh was audible. "That's what I was afraid of." "Guess we've got ourselves a mystery," Durin muttered, fingers tightening around the throttle. The Wanderer shuddered slightly as Bolt rerouted power to the scanners. Data streams flickered across the main display, warning lights flashing in protest. "Adventure? Statistically unwise," Bolt noted, his usual pessimism intact. Durin just grinned. "When have we ever played it safe?" Seraph groaned. "Just once I'd love to hear you say, 'Let's turn around and live another day.'" "Not today." Bolt's eye flickered, a resigned beep following. "Of course not." Durin adjusted the controls, eyes locked on the dark horizon ahead. Whatever waited for them beyond the void, it wasn't going to reveal itself from a distance. They'd have to go in. The Wanderer's engines roared to life, casting long streaks of light against the endless black. A course was set. The nearest uncharted system loomed ahead, vast and untouched. Durin exhaled, a slow grin creeping across his face. "Let's see what's out there." And with that, they plunged forward into the unknown.